Welcome back, everyone. Great to have you here today. Looking forward to getting into our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. You know that each and every weekend we get to about a dozen of our community's questions. They are answered in the order that they come in. And of course, they're all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, sometimes some IHP coaching-based questions, and so much more. So again, a real pleasure to be able to sit down with you every Saturday and Sunday for about 20 minutes each time and simply listen to what you have going on in your life, what you might be struggling with, that I maybe in some way can share with you some experiences that I've had, that I've seen other clients go through just like you. And what are the labs? What are the protocols, not products, but actual protocols, the lifestyle changes, the diet, the exercise, the stress reduction, all of these things that can, in the end, add up to you living the life that you want, having the health that you want, decreasing the anxiety and decreasing the mood-based issues. And again, like I said, overall improving your vitality, your zest for life. So without further ado, let's dive into today's questions from the community and let's see what people have to say. Open up the big document here. All right, we've got some great questions, I hope. I'm sure, I have no doubt. And the first one is from Karen. All right, Karen's saying, "Hi there, Dr. Cabral, and thank you for being the one resource I trust for non-biased answers to my health-related questions. I'm a fair-skinned, healthy 48-year-old woman. Recently did some gene testing, showed I might be prone to vitamin D deficiencies, and historically I struggled to keep my 25 above my vitamin D, above 20 nanograms per milliliter in the wintertime and 40 in the summer, unless I'm supplementing. I prefer to get my vitamin D from the sun when weather permits, but I'm very torn between the positive sun exposure and the negative skin damage." Let's see. Practitioners have different opinions. It's a longer question, so I will give you all of the synopsis from that. And let's see. So trying to get vitamin D from the sun, 20 to 30 minutes, usually 3 to 5 days a week. Am I risking unnecessary sun damage? And can I offset it with anything else? Okay, let me just answer your question. I know exactly what you're talking about. I understand it. I think about it myself all the time. So here's the deal. The issue with vitamin D from the sun is that in order to get enough vitamin D from the sun, you need to get your skin to the point where you get a tan. And if you get, now nobody here ever, I hope nobody will ever promote to you getting a sunburn. A sunburn is dangerous. It causes damage to the skin and it may lead to cancer. Now, there's no research that shows getting a tan gradually over time leads to cancer. But a tan over time can lead to skin damage, meaning wrinkles and cellular oxidation. So what do we have? Well, we have vitamin D for those people that are getting a tan, but later in life, years later, more wrinkles and more sun damage. So it's a trade-off, right? So really, this is a decision that only you can make. I have decided that I'm okay with the wrinkles that will come from me getting a tan and sun. Because remember, the sun is just more than vitamin D. I'm going to be doing a whole podcast on it. The way that I feel when I get a natural tan, not a burn, is night and day better than not having one. So my energy is up, my endurance is up, my oxygen utilization is up because the sun affects, again, many different things, including the mitochondria. My immunity is up, my mood is up. I probably already said that, but again, my mood is improved with good sunlight and a tan. So I've decided that I'm okay with some of those crow's feet and some, wrinkling over the years, because I believe that a lot of that can be offset with a lot of skin-based natural skin-based treatments. So I'll talk about that in another part. Now, in terms of you just might not be getting enough sun. Like that's what the issue may be, is that you're saying, okay, I'm going to get 20 to 30 minutes in a 2-piece bathing suit 3 to 5 days a week. It just might not be enough sun for you. Like that's it. Like it might not be enough for you to the point where you're getting a tan that you would get enough vitamin D. So yours could be simply time in the sun is not enough. However, there's more to vitamin D. What if your magnesium levels, your calcium levels are not where they should be? Maybe you have detox-based issues that is not allowing the vitamin D to be metabolized process. There could be heavy metal. There could be stress in the body. All of these things have now been shown to not allow for proper vitamin D. So We typically recommend it in our practice about 35 IUs per pound of body weight for vitamin D. Most adults around 4,000 IUs per day. And if you're getting sun, well, the days that you don't get sun, or the days you get sun, you don't need vitamin D supplementation. If you're getting a tan, or in the days that you don't, you need supplementation. So there's really no other way around it. You might be missing the cofactors that I've spoken about before. You might not just be getting enough sun. And in the winter, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I would take my vitamin D if you're not able to get a tan. So back in Boston, the sun's out. Doesn't mean that I can get a tan. I can't, right? It's typically below Atlanta, Georgia to be able to still get a tan. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Maria is up next. And again, if you want to check out your magnesium and your vitamin levels, simply run the minerals and metals test, and that will let you know if you're adequate. All right. Maria's up next. And again, if I mention anything today in terms of like Adrenal Soothe or magnesium or the labs, everything is at equi.life online, equi.life. All right, Maria says, I've read lots to do with the importance of avoiding rancid and oxidized oils. However, was wondering if this is also the case with spices. Would there be any harm, despite the loss in flavor or potency, in consuming stale spices, such as cardamom pods. Let's see what else. Wondering if it's better to throw them out or use them. Thank you so much for your help. This is a great question as well. There's not a lot of danger except for lack of potency unless there has been mold growth. Now, the nice thing about spices, such as a lot of those anise and cloves and even like cardamom and those, they're typically antifungal, which is really nice, right? They're antimicrobial. So there's not going to be a lot of mold usually growing on them. They can taste different without a doubt, and they typically just become less potent. So like, for example, let's take one of our herbal-based nutritional supplements. Let me think of a good one. Well, we just mentioned Adrenal Soothe, or no, even better would be like our CBO protocol. So all of our different antimicrobials in that. They have a best buy date, which is 2 years from manufacturing. And so that's when they're best buy. Do they all of a sudden go stale the day after? No, of course not, right? They're going to last. I mean, 5 years used to be what you could say. They're going to last for a good 5 years that you'd want to be able to still use them before they break down. So no, I have no problem with people using them as long as there's no odd smell. You're not getting the same oxidation. Remember, these herbs have antioxidants in them. That's different than an oil. An oil has been broken down, which means it's processed, and when exposed to air and or light, it becomes oxidized. It's a good question. Chelsea's up next. Let's see what Chelsea has to say. Hello, Dr. Ball. This question is regarding cumulative radiation exposure, and is there any way to mitigate it? In the last 17 years, I've had 7 CAT scans, 2 sinus for sinus issues, 5 abdominal for kidney stones. It's been 7 years since my last CAT scan. In the past 2 years, I've had 5 x-rays on my hips, 2 x-rays on my chest and my shoulder. Most recent x-ray was in March, scheduled for mammogram 2021. The breast center will not provide ultrasound. I did do thermography and needed further evaluation. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you put that in there because that would have been my suggestion. Mouth x-rays at a dentist. 44, terrified of the cumulative radiation damage. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to answer this as well. You know, that's the tough part. It's like we're so fortunate to have all of these great medical-based devices, but the issue is that they come with radiation, and radiation can lead to potentially other issues in the future. So the best thing you can do is this. A strong, healthy body is going to be able to deal with the radiation. All right, so I just want to repeat that. So a strong, healthy body is going to be able to deal with the oxidative damage that comes from radiation. Now, there are a couple things that help with radiation, and the typical ones are what you might find in like the 7, 14, or 21-day detox, okay? So those are phenomenal for ramping up detoxification. However, on a daily basis, you really want to stick to things like your daily foundational protocol level 2. Excuse me, a little sip of water there. So you want to stick with level 2 or level 3 and the daily immunity protocol, which is vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. All right. You want to make sure that you're giving your body enough to deal with cellular regeneration, cellular cleanup, and liver detoxification. I would also say you want to look into something like the daily thyroid support. If your thyroid, Chelsea, is not between a 0.5 and a 2 when you're looking at TSH, you most likely need to get it some support. Inside of that product is not a big dose, it's a smaller dose, a safe dose of iodine. Now, I can't give medical recommendations, medical advice, treatment protocols, cures for disease, or disease diagnosis, especially not over a podcast. So I can't say that this is what you should do, but you're not asking me about disease. If it were my daughter or wife asking me this question, I would most likely be using daily thyroid support, especially if my numbers backed it up. And the reason is that iodine, and iodine's been proven, iodine helps with radiation. All right. Gordon's up next. Gordon says, hello, Dr. Brawl. Appreciate all you do. I've suffered from lower abdominal discomfort on and off since my time in the Vietnam War. I was treated for an intestinal infection and acute pain went away, or the acute pain went away. Years later, I had surgery for an inguinal hernia. The pain, cramping, tenderness, some bloating, and gas came back and continues now on a regular basis, affecting my sleep. Many doctors thought these symptoms were related to the surgery, adhesions, or possible that affected the nerves. I was put on gabapentin, which did not help. Any thought or relation to the hernia, or I'm still experiencing issues related to the intestinal infection I had so many years ago? Thanks. Gordon, this is a great question. And again, I love these little details. I can't read the massive questions, but I like the details. Okay. So I agree with you that when you have a hernia, or you have surgery in any way, it typically leaves scars, let's call it scar tissue. So these are adhesions, right? This is tough, fibrous tissue. And it could really kind of mess up the way that your body moves. And remember, everything in your body's connected with fascia. So the fascia pulls a certain way, and that can cause pain. However, you said that you had some bloating and gas and cramping and tenderness. It's my belief that this might have nothing to do with the surgeries, but actually a side effect of surgery, which is taking antibiotics. There's, again, I'm not providing a diagnosis, treatment protocol, or cure. However, there's a good possibility you were put on antibiotics during these surgeries. And then there's an excellent possibility you now ended up with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth and or yeast overgrowth. So my highest recommendation for you, Gordon, would be to run the bacterium parasite stool test and the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. That's what I would do. And you will know for sure if you have overgrowth there. And the nice thing is all of those labs through Equilife come with a consultation and a protocol, not just your results. All right, Darren's up next. Good day to you, Dr. Brawl, and your family. I checked the search bar before asking this question, but maybe I did a poor job in doing so. If possible, can you briefly touch on, or probably consider doing a future show on the best time to take different supplements, vitamins, and minerals so as to avoid conflict, adverse interaction, and optimal absorption as possible. For instance, I understand vitamin A can decrease vitamin D intake. Also, if that's the case, won't the minerals and vitamins and multivitamins inhibit each other? As always, keep up the great work. Yeah, this is a really good question. You know what? And Darren, I'm going to give you your answer today. However, I'm going to put this in because I really like the question. So it won't be for a couple months, but I'm going to do a podcast on I actually did a podcast on this, when to take certain supplements. When to take supplements. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search for you, because you went to stephencabral.com/podcast and you said you did the search bar. So let's just type into Google, Stephen Cabral, and then let's type in the keyword, when to take supplements. Let's see if anything pops up. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create that podcast for you. All right. So without a doubt, it's a great question, and not every question is going to get its own, 20-minute podcast, but this is a good one. And I like that. Now, just to put your mind at ease, vitamin A versus vitamin D is a different question versus asking about all of your B vitamins, your B1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and B12, all the others, or even versus a vitamin C. Okay, so I think this will put your mind at ease about this one question. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K are fat-soluble vitamins. And because they're fat-soluble vitamins, they're special vitamins. They're a different type of vitamin. It's not the only ones, but those are the ones that you also have to be careful that you're not overdoing, because they can build up more toxicity in the body. So that's why we always use the beta-carotene version of our vitamin A, the vitamin D3 version of vitamin D, We use D-alpha-tocopherol and typically tocotrienols along with that for vitamin E. Again, this is all orthomolecular medicine based. And vitamin K, we're using the different versions of vitamin K like K2 as well. So those vitamins, though, are unique, those 4. And they do actually not always, they can compete for absorption. So if you're taking too much of one, it can compete for absorption with another. Now, some vitamin A with a good amount of vitamin D actually does not hurt it and actually helps it. And we see that in things like liver, right? So when you eat liver or you take a cod liver oil, you can actually see that the vitamin A in that, which comes from liver, actually helps boost the vitamin D. So it's all about dosage as well, but hopefully that puts your mind at ease. And on a future show, I'll talk about more anabolic vitamins and minerals, more anabolic minerals, I should say, and then more catabolic ones based on the research and work of Dr. Emanuele Rovici from about 100 years ago, brilliant medical doctor and biochemist. And so I'll talk more about that in the future. It's great. It's a great question. All right, one more question from today, and it's from, by the way, I just want to say one more thing to Darren. With any Equalife product, this has already been taken care of for you because we've already looked at the research and done it for you. But if you're taking a high dose of something like vitamin A or vitamin D, which we don't recommend. So here's the thing, Darren. I'm not a big advocate of high dose fat-soluble vitamins, meaning like, okay, vitamin A, about 5,000 units. Vitamin D, about 4,000 to 5,000 units a day. Vitamin E, 400 to 800. These are in IUs. I know it's switched now. Vitamin K, 80, 100, a little bit over 100 a day. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, I don't recommend high dosages anyways, because that's when you see the issues with vitamin A and vitamin D, or any of these, vitamin E, when you do high dosages in studies. We don't recommend high dosages, so there's no issues. All right, one more question. Laura's up. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a question about the avocado seed pit powder as a supplement. It's supposed to strengthen the immune system, and supposedly it's an anti-inflammatory and a powerful antioxidant. I've got a recommendation for it for fibromyalgia, but I don't trust anything until I check in with you first. Haha. Okay, Laura, appreciate that. Yeah, it's gotten more popular because it is a very powerful antioxidant. So the seed of anything is a powerful antioxidant, typically. So a lot of them are also antimicrobial. Think about grape seeds, right? Grape seeds, very powerful. Antioxidant, right? Think about grapefruit seeds, very powerful antimicrobial and antioxidant. Apricot seeds, you can look this up. I can't talk about it on my podcast, but you can certainly look up apricot seeds. And again, I'm not talking about this as a cure, but as at least a side component for tumors. I won't even say the C word here. You can check out that. Anyway, I won't say too much about it because I like the podcast and I want to keep doing it. So, but then you look up apricot seeds as well. So, okay, well, what about avocado seeds? Well, same thing, right? Powerful antioxidant. For those people, and I've given this tip before, if you only eat half the avocado, the amazing thing is, if you cut the avocado in half, but keep the pit in it, use the half that does not have the pit in it, slice it up, put it on your salad, your meal, whatever you'd like to do. If you then put that avocado, even on your counter, but it works better obviously in a silicone bag or something like that, you seal it up with, however you want to seal it up. If you keep the pit in, the avocado is not really going to oxidize except for a thin layer on the top. You take out the pit, the whole thing turns to mush. So it's a very powerful antioxidant. So do I believe that you should be taking it at bigger dosages? I don't. No, not at all. I think it's unnecessary. I think it's a bit of a fad. I will change my mind on this, by the way. I can change my mind on this. I see absolutely no need to use it because it can also be very difficult to digest. So I see no need. You can get your antioxidants from all of your brightly colored fruits and vegetables. What some people do is they'll actually cut a piece off, right, of it and throw it right in their smoothie to blend it up of the avocado seed. So if you wanted to do that, you could literally just blend it up in your blender anyways. I don't lean towards it. I'm not against it, but there are so many great supplements to take. And if this costs, I've never seen it before, but if it costs like $30 a bag, I'd rather you put the $30 towards, again, so many other great nutritional supplements. And there's just so many out there. I couldn't see putting money towards this one, especially since you can eat the avocado, cut a little piece off, throw it in your blender if you want for some more antioxidants. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. And as I always say, if this podcast was helpful, please do feel free to share this information with anyone else you believe it could serve.